The nervous system is a major controlling, regulatory and communicating system in the body. It is the center of all mental activity including thought, learning and memory. Together with the endocrine system, the nervous system is responsible for regulating and maintaining homeostasis. Through its receptors, the nervous system keeps us in touch with the environment, both external and internal. Like other systems in the body, the nervous system is composed of organs, principally the brain, spinal cord, nerves and ganglia. These in turn consists of various tissues including nerves, blood and connective tissue. Together, these carry out the complex activities of the nervous system. The nervous system is involved in receiving information about the environment around us, that is sensation, and generating responses to that information in the form of motor responses. The nervous system can be divided into regions that are responsible for sensation, the sensory functions, and for the response, motor functions. But there is a third function that needs to be included. Sensory input needs to be integrated with other sensations as well as with memories, emotional state or learning cognition. The four main functions of the nervous system are: control of body's internal environment to maintain homeostasis, programming of spinal cord reflexes, memory and learning, voluntary control of movement, control of body's internal environment to maintain homeostasis. Homeostasis is maintained by the regulation of body temperature. As we exercise, we create heat. In order to maintain a relatively constant core temperature, the nervous system sends messages to the blood vessels to dilate or expand, increasing blood flow to the skin and increasing sweating to help disperse the accumulating heat. Programming of spinal cord reflexes. Spinal cord reflex functions to protect us from injury. An example of this is the stretch reflex. If, while jogging, someone accidentally rolls their ankle, the stretch reflex will instantly sense the stretch in the muscles around the ankle and send messages to those muscles telling them to contract and resist the stretch. This reflex serves to protect the ankle from breaking and results in a minor sprain rather than a severe break. Memory and learning. Functions like reading or writing require a certain amount of repetition to learn and memorize these key functions. This also applies with exercise. New movements, especially complex ones, take time for the nervous system to learn. Voluntary control of movement. Every voluntary movement that a person performs is under the direct control of the nervous system. The nervous system sends messages to the particular body part to move. If the movement has been repeated numerous times, example eating or walking, the movement will be very efficient. If, however, the movement is new and still requires some repetition, then we would expect the movement to be less efficient and in some cases look awkward. Example, holding the chopsticks for the first time. Nervous tissue is composed of neurons, also called nerve cells, and neuroglial cells. This tissue is categorized by its neuronal and neuroglial components. Neurons. Neurons or nerve cells carry out the functions of the nervous system by conducting nerve impulses. They are highly specialized and amitotic. This means that if a neuron is destroyed, it cannot be replaced because neurons do not go through mitosis. Each neuron has three basic parts: cell body, also called soma, one or more dendrites and a single axon. Cell body. The cell body of a neuron is similar to other types of cells. It has a nucleus with at least one nucleolus and contains many of the typical cytoplasmic organelles. It lacks centrioles because centrioles function in cell division, and since neurons cannot divide, they do not need these organelles. Dendrites. Dendrites and axons are cytoplasmic extensions or processes that project from the cell body. They are sometimes referred to as fibers. Dendrites are generally short and branching, which increases their surface area to receive signals from other neurons. The number of dendrites on a neuron varies. The dendrites are called as afferent processes because they transmit impulses to the neuron cell body. Axon. An axon is a long, slender projection of a neuron that typically conducts electrical impulses away from the neuron cell body and is therefore known as an efferent process. The function of the axon is to transmit information to different neurons, muscles and glands. The bulb-like end of the axon, called the axon terminal, is separated from the dendrite of the following neuron by a small gap called the synapse. When the action potential travels to the axon terminal, neurotransmitters are released across the synapse and bind to the postsynaptic receptors, continuing the nerve impulse. Many axons are surrounded by a segmented, white, fatty substance called myelin or the myelin sheath. Myelinated axons are known as nerve fibers. Myelinated fibers make up the white matter in the central nervous system or the CNS, while cell bodies and unmyelinated fibers make the grey matter. The unmyelinated regions between the myelin segments are called as the nodes of Ranvier. In the peripheral nervous system, the myelin is produced by Schwann cells. The cytoplasm, nucleus and outer cell membrane of the Schwann cell form a tight covering around the myelin and around the axon itself at the nodes of Ranvier. This covering is called the neurolemma. It plays an important role in the regeneration of nerve fibers if the nerve fiber is damaged. In the CNS, oligodendrocytes produce myelin, but there is no neurolemma. This is why fibers within the CNS do not regenerate. Nissl bodies are the equivalent to rough endoplasmic reticulum for neurons, while synapse is defined as a space where two neurons communicate in one direction. Neurons are classified both functionally and structurally. Functional classification of neurons: sensory neurons or efferent neurons. Sensory neurons transmit impulses from the receptors located in the peripheral nervous system towards the central nervous system. Their cell bodies are located in ganglia, which is a group of nerve cell bodies located outside the CNS. Ganglia house the cell bodies of the efferent nerves. Motor neurons, efferent neurons. Motor neurons transmit impulses away from the CNS to muscles and glands, also called effectors. Most of the cell bodies are located in the CNS. This is why someone who has lost a limb may feel like he or she still has it. Interneurons. Interneurons make up most of the neurons in your body. They are located in the CNS and usually link the sensory and motor neurons in a chain. Their processes are limited to a single local area in the brain or spinal cord. Structural classification. The basis of this classification is the number of processes, that is dendrites and axon, extending from the neuron cell body. Multipolar neurons. Multipolar neurons have 3 or more processes coming off the soma or cell body. They are the major neuron types in the CNS and include interneurons and motor neurons. They are found mostly in the spinal cord and the brain. Bipolar neurons. Bipolar neurons are sensory neurons that have 2 processes coming off the soma, one dendrite and one axon. Bipolar neurons are found in the sense organs, in the retina of the eye and in olfactory cells. Unipolar neurons. These neurons consist of one dendrite and one axon. A single projection emerges from the soma, splitting the 2 projections, with one end having the axon terminal and the other having the dendrites. These neurons are usually sensory neurons. They are found in the granular layer of the cerebellum. Pseudo-unipolar neurons. A pseudo-unipolar neurons is a kind of sensory neuron in the peripheral nervous system. These cells share characteristics with both unipolar and bipolar cells. A pseudo-unipolar cell has a single structure that extends from the soma, like a unipolar cell. This structure later branches into 2 distinct structures like a bipolar cell. Neuroglia. Neuroglia, also called glial cells, are cells of the nervous system. They are the support system that is essential for the proper operation of nervous tissue and the nervous system. Unlike neurons, glial cells do not have axons, dendrites or conduct nerve impulses. Neuroglia are typically smaller than neurons but are about 3 times more numerous in the nervous system. Glial cells perform a plethora of functions in the nervous system. These functions include providing support for the brain, assisting in nervous system repair and maintenance, assisting in the development of the nervous system, insulating neurons and providing metabolic functions for neurons. Neuroglia provide nutrition and immune protection to the neurons. In addition, They are responsible for the formation of myelin sheath and maintaining homeostasis inside the neurons. Classification of neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells are classified as microglial cells, astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, radial glial cells, Schwann cells, satellite glial cells and ependymal cells. Microglial cells. Microglia are macrophage cells that make up the primary immune system for the central nervous system. They are the smallest neuroglial cells. They scavenge and degrade dead cells, protecting the brain from invading microorganisms. Astrocytes. Astrocytes are star-shaped macroglial cells with many processes found in the CNS. They are the most abundant cell type in the brain and are necessary to a healthy CNS. Astrocytes make contact with both capillaries and neurons in the CNS. They provide nutrients and other substances to neurons and regulate the concentrations of ions and chemicals in the extracellular fluid. They also provide structural support for synapses. Astrocytes also form the blood-brain barrier, which is a structure that blocks entrance of toxic substances into the brain. Oligodendrocytes. Oligodendrocytes are CNS cells with very few processes. They form myelin sheaths on the axon of a neuron, which are lipid-based insulation that increases the speed at which the action potential can travel down the axon. One axon can be myelinated by several oligodendrocytes, or one oligodendrocyte can provide myelin for multiple neurons. Radial glial cells. Radial glial cells are bipolar shaped cells that span the width of the cortex in the developing central nervous system and serve as primary progenitor cells capable of generating neurons, astrocytes and oligodendrocytes. Radial glia serve as bridges for developing neurons as they migrate to their end destinations. Schwann cells. Schwann cells are like the oligodendrocytes but found in the peripheral nervous system, the PNS. They help maintain axons and form myelin sheaths in the PNS. A single Schwann cell provides myelin for only one axon as the entire Schwann cell surrounds the axon. Satellite glial cell. Satellite glial cells line the surface of neuron cell bodies and ganglia. They provide nutrients and structural support for neurons in the PNS. Ependymal cells. Ependymal cells line fluid-filled ventricles of the brain and the central canal of the spinal cord. They are involved in the production of cerebrospinal fluid or CSF, which serves as a cushion for the brain. They beat their cilia to help circulate the CSF between the spinal cord and the brain. The nervous system is the part of an animal's body that coordinates its voluntary and involuntary actions and transmits signals to and from different parts of its body. In vertebrate species, it consists of two main parts, the central nervous system CNS and the peripheral nervous system PNS. The CNS contains the brain and spinal cord. The PNS consists mainly of nerves, which are enclosed bundles of the long fibers or axons that connect the CNS to every other part of the body. Nerves that transmit signals from the brain are called motor or efferent nerves, while those nerves that transmit information from the body to the CNS are called sensory or afferent nerves. Most nerves serve both functions and are called mixed nerves. The central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord, which are located in the dorsal body cavity. The brain is surrounded by the cranium and the spinal cord is protected by the vertebrae. The brain is continuous with the spinal cord. In addition to bone structures, the CNS is surrounded by connective tissue membranes called meninges and by cerebrospinal fluid or CSF. Meninges. There are three layers of meninges around the brain and spinal cord. The outer layer is the dura mater, which is a tough white fibrous connective tissue. The middle layer of the meninges is arachnoid. It resembles a cobweb in appearance. It is a thin layer with numerous thread-like strands that attach it to the innermost layer. The pia mater is the innermost layer of the meninges. It is a thin, delicate membrane which is tightly bound to the surface of the brain and spinal cord. Brain. The brain makes up the largest portion of the central nervous system. The brain is the major functional unit of the central nervous system. While the spinal cord has certain processing abilities such as that of spinal locomotion and can process reflexes, the brain is the major processing unit of the nervous system. The brain is divided into the cerebrum, the diencephalons, brainstem and cerebellum. Cerebrum. The cerebrum makes up the largest portion of the human brain. It is divided by a deep longitudinal fissure into two cerebral hemispheres. The two hemispheres are two separate entities, but are connected by a band of white fibers called the corpus callosum that provides a communication pathway between the two halves. Various structures combine to form the cerebral hemispheres like the cortex, basal ganglia, amygdala and the hippocampus. One of the most important parts of the cerebral hemispheres is the cortex. It is made up of grey matter and covers the surface of the brain. Functionally, the cerebral cortex is involved in planning and carrying out the everyday tasks. The hippocampus is involved in storage of memories. The amygdala plays a role in perception and communication of emotion, while the basal ganglia play a major role in the coordination of voluntary movement. Together, the hemispheres control a large portion of the functions of the human brain such as emotion, memory, perception and motor functions. Apart from this, the cerebral hemisphere stand for the cognitive capabilities of the brain. Diencephalon. The diencephalon is centrally located and is nearly surrounded by the cerebral hemispheres. It includes the thalamus, hypothalamus and epithalamus. The thalamus is about 80% of the diencephalon and consists of two oval masses of grey matter. The thalamus has multiple functions. It may be thought of as a kind of switchboard of information. It is generally believed to act as a relay station for most sensory impulses. However, the sense of smell is an exception and is relayed to the cerebral cortex. The hypothalamus is a small region below the thalamus which plays a key role in maintaining homeostasis because it regulates many visceral activities. The epithalamus is the most dorsal portion of the diencephalon. It is a small gland involved with the onset of puberty and rhythmic cycles in the body. It is like a biological clock. Brainstem. The brainstem is the region between the diencephalon and the spinal cord. It is connected to the underside of the brain. It consists of the midbrain, pons and medulla, also called as medulla oblongata. The midbrain is found in between the hindbrain and the forebrain. It regulates motor function and allows motor and sensory information to pass from the brain to the rest of the body. The pons houses the control centers for the respiration and inhibitory functions. The medulla also helps in regulating respiration, cardiovascular functioning and digestion. All the sensory and motor nerve fibers that connect the brain and spinal cord pass through the medulla. Cerebellum. The cerebellum, the second largest portion of the brain, is located below the occipital lobes of the cerebrum. Three paired bundles of myelinated nerve fibers called cerebellar peduncles form communication pathways between the cerebellum and the other parts of the central nervous system. Ventricles and cerebrospinal fluid. A series of interconnected fluid-filled cavities are found within the brain. These cavities are the ventricles of the brain and the fluid is cerebrospinal fluid, also known as CSF. Spinal cord. The spinal cord is a long, thin tubular bundle of nervous tissue and supports cells that extends from the medulla oblongata in the brainstem to the lumbar region of the vertebral column. The spinal cord is the main pathway for information connecting the brain and the peripheral nervous system. The length of the spinal cord is much shorter as compared to the length of the vertebral column. Like the brain, the spinal cord is surrounded by bone, meninges and cerebrospinal fluid. The spinal cord helps the brain to communicate with different parts of the body and vice versa. Its major roles are to relay messages from the brain to the different parts of the body, usually a muscle, in order to perform an action. To pass along messages from sensory receptors found all over the body to the brain. The peripheral nervous system consists of the nerves that branch out from the brain and spinal cord. These nerves form the communication network between the CNS and the body parts. The peripheral nervous system is further subdivided into the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system consists of nerves that go to the skin and muscles and is involved in conscious activities. The autonomic nervous system consists of nerves that connect the CNS to the visceral organs such as the heart, stomach and intestines. It mediates unconscious activities. Structure of a nerve. A nerve contains bundles of nerve fibers, either axons or dendrites, surrounded by connective tissue. Sensory nerves contain only afferent fibers, which are long dendrites of sensory neurons. Motor nerves have only efferent fibers, which are long axons of motor neurons. Mixed nerves contain both afferent and efferent fibers. A connective tissue sheath called the epineurium surrounds each nerve. Each bundle of nerve fibers is called a fasciculus and is surrounded by a layer of connective tissue called the perineurium. Within the fasciculus, each individual nerve fiber with its myelin and neurolema is surrounded by connective tissue called the endoneurium. A nerve may also have blood vessels enclosed in its connective tissue wrappings. Cranial nerves. Cranial nerves are the nerves that emerge directly from the brain, including the brainstem. Cranial nerves relay information between the brain and parts of the body, primarily to and from regions of the head and neck. The cranial nerves serve functions such as smell, sight, eye movement and feeling in the face. The cranial nerves also control balance, hearing and swallowing. The 12 cranial nerves in order from 1 to 12 are olfactory nerve, optic nerve, oculomotor nerve, trochlear nerve, trigeminal nerve, abducens nerve, facial nerve, vestibulocochlear nerve, glossopharyngeal nerve, vagus nerve, spinal accessory nerve and hypoglossal nerve. The vagus nerve, the 10th nerve, has many branches and is responsible for tasks including heart rate, gastrointestinal peristalsis, sweating and muscle movements in the mouth, including speech and keeping the larynx open for breathing. Spinal nerves. The term spinal nerve generally refers to a mixed spinal nerve which carries motor, sensory and autonomic signals between the spinal cord and the body. 31 pairs of spinal nerves emerge laterally from the spinal cord. Each pair of nerves correspond to a segment of the cord and they are named accordingly. This means there are 8 cervical nerves, 12 thoracic nerves, 5 lumbar nerves, 5 sacral nerves and 1 coccygeal nerve. Each spinal nerve is formed by the combination of nerve fibers from the dorsal and ventral roots of the spinal cord. The dorsal roots carry efferent sensory axons, while the ventral roots carry efferent motor axons. The peripheral nervous system can be further divided into the autonomic nervous system and the somatic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system regulates involuntary and unconscious actions such as internal organ function, breathing, digestion and heartbeat. It supplies nerves to or innervates the cardiac and smooth muscle tissue. This system consists of 2 complementary parts, the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. Both divisions work without conscious effort and have similar nerve pathways, but they generally have opposite effects on the target tissues. The sympathetic nervous system activates the fight or flight or freeze response under sudden or stressful circumstances such as taking an exam or seeing a bear. It raises the heart and breathing rates and dilates the pupils as it prepares the body to run or confront danger. This is an autonomic response that occurs in animals and humans. The parasympathetic nervous system activates a rest and digest or feed and breed response after stressful events. This reaction conserves energy and replenishes the system. It slows the heartbeat and breathing rate. Together, these 2 systems maintain homeostasis within the body, one priming the body for action and the other repairing the body afterward. Somatic nervous system. The somatic nervous system keeps the body adept and coordinated both through reflexes and voluntary action. The somatic nervous system controls system in different areas like the skin, bones, joints and skeletal muscles. Afferent fibers or nerves that receive information from external stimuli carry sensory information through pathways that connect the skin and the skeletal muscles to the central nervous system for processing. The information is then sent back via efferent nerves or nerves that carry instructions from the CNS back through the somatic system. These instructions go to neuromuscular junctions, which are the interfaces between neurons and muscles for motor output. The somatic system also provides us with reflexes which are automatic and do not require input or integration from the brain to perform, such as the knee jerk reflex. Somatic functions and visceral functions are divided into two components, efferent or sensory and efferent or motor. Therefore, the nervous system has four functional divisions: the somatic sensory system, the somatic motor system, visceral sensory system and visceral motor system. Somatic sensory system is widely spread throughout the body that deals with touch, pain, vibration, pressure, temperature, proprioception, hearing, balance and vision. Somatic motor system deals with voluntary skeletal muscle contractions. Visceral sensory system deals with stretching, pain, temperature, nausea, hunger, taste and smell. Visceral motor system deals with the involuntary contraction of smooth and cardiac muscle. This includes a sympathetic division that is fight or flight and parasympathetic division that is rest and digest. It is hard to imagine a moment during our waking hours when our senses are not in use. We are constantly bombarded with sensory input, from a delicious aroma wafting away to a painful stubbed toe. All of this information is processed by our brain every millisecond. Some sensory experiences are positive and some we would rather forget. But none of our senses would even function without the existence of our nervous system. In this lesson, we learned about the components of nervous tissue and gained a better understanding of how it works for our body.